playoffs well earlier than most expected, plagued by injury after injury. I'll give you a third one after injury this season. Now the focus shifts to next season and what the big three can do. Here's Steve Nash on that very topic.
We're very close amidst a lot of adversity, and if we can continue to refine and improve what we do, why can't we take this with us, grow, learn, and be back with even more resolve, more of an understanding of what it takes to win. So that's definitely the silver lining is what we can take from this. What can we add to our toolbox and to our collective kind of mentality and culture. And I think we all feel heartbroken that we're not still playing, but at the same time, we all have a lot of positivity around what's capable here, what this group is able to accomplish, and all the path towards it is exciting. It's not daunting. I think everyone here is fired up to get back to work and try to build this thing back up and even stronger.
All right, so let's spin this forward, Steven Jackson. Should the Nets be favorites to win it all next year, no matter what happens the rest of the playoffs this season?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we all know that injuries played a big part in their season this year, and injury plays a big part in the NBA season period with a lot of different teams. But this team, we know how it would have been if they were healthy. When we seen them play together, all three stars play together, they were definitely a dangerous team, and you can't count them out just because the way their season ended and how everybody was hurt this year and guys missing games. So I would still have them as a team that's leading to win a championship next year, because they still have these stars. There's a possibility they can be healthy all year. It's a lot of adjustments to make, and I think the coaching staff too knows that they have to do a better job as well.
I'm glad you keyed on the coaching staff, and I'll get to that. Listen, will the Nets be one of the best teams in basketball? Of course they will be. They've got Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant plus almost any supporting cast is going to be in the upper echelon. Kevin Durant plus Kyrie Irving and James Harden is going to be one of the best teams in basketball. But Wilds, I tried to be gentle yesterday. Yeah. I tried not to do somebody told you so all year. Dumbest thing you ever heard. But what? No, not with you.
Wasn't gentle when you said that.
No, I wasn't gentle with you. I was gentle with the Nets. Your 74-8 take was so beyond the pale stupid, I had to take off the gentleness and be honest. But if we are going to rinse and repeat the exact same thing with the Nets for next year, then I'm going to lose my mind. Could they win the title? Of course they could win the title. But there are some major structural changes that will need to be made, and they also need to recognize that their biggest weakness, other than health, which, by the way, will not all of a sudden change. I'm not saying Steven is saying it will, but Kyrie Irving is the only guy they were missing for the second half of the Bucks series when they went from 2-0 to losing the series. And Kyrie Irving missed the end of the playoffs in 2015, missed the playoffs in 2018, missed the playoffs in 2020, and got hurt in the playoffs in 2021. So, and prior to 2015, never made the playoffs. So him being healthy throughout the whole year is more of the outlier than him getting hurt, unfortunately. But their biggest weakness, other than health, Wilds, was can they deal with a true big man? And they could have won the title this year without having to do that if they could have gotten through the one big man they dealt with in Giannis. Embiid knocked out. Jokic knocked out. Anthony Davis knocked out. That's not going to be the case, you wouldn't think, again next season. And Giannis, I would imagine, will be even better because he won't have the devil on his shoulder saying you've got to prove to him you can shoot like he was throughout this Nets series if he is the minted finals MVP by playing his own game. And none of that addresses what Steven said at the beginning, which is right now they're a poorly coached team. Now, just like players can grow from year one to year two, coaches can grow from year one to year two, but they are not a well-coached team. And that's not even to mention Blake Griffin might not be back. Jeff Green might not be back. Bruce Brown might not be back. That's 3 of the 6 guys they were actually playing this postseason. So I think there are major questions next year, just like there were this year for the Nets, who I think you have going, 75-7? You have them being the greatest team of all time? I can't quite remember what it was yesterday. I blacked out from the stupidity of it. My apologies.
75 and 8. 74 and 80. So a few things.
My bad.
So Sean Marks has work to do, right? I think they knew that they needed to upgrade there, that DeAndre Jordan wasn't giving them everything they needed, Stack, and that's why they went and got LaMarcus Aldridge. Now, LaMarcus unfortunately couldn't play, but I feel like that's something Sean Marks will try to address: interior defense and rebounding. So I don't know who they target, whether they go out and get a big star or try to find some sort of like hidden gem out there like the Knicks did with Nerlens. So the question about the 74 and 8 thing is this. They'll be favored in every single game. Now, you can tell me it's unwise for them to try to go for a record, but I feel like they need sort of like something. They need to go after something. Because when you're just like, well, it's championship or bust, well, it's a long road. Now, I don't know where you stand on a Stack. For me, it's like, well, if you're going to play the games, you might as well win. And if they're going to be favored in every single game, and they've gone through a year of adversity, so they're better. They've gone through a year of chemistry. They feel more gelled. And KD has taken his game to another level. Harden will be back. He'll take his game to another level. Kyrie, who, look, was basically healthy. His shoulders now seems to be fixed, and his injury in the playoffs was just a freak thing. I don't think we can tag that to sort of like his history of injuries. I just want to hear a reason why they couldn't challenge the Warriors and the 96 Bulls for being one of the best regular seasons of all time.
It definitely can happen, Wiles. No question about that. You spot on. But, you know, I think even with you guys saying that DeAndre Jordan couldn't get it done, I think he could have. I think for what they needed from him, they needed for him to be a little physical and rebound and catch lobs. He could have done that. I think that the coaching staff lost confidence in him, and not even consulting the players. You know, he's great friends with all those guys, and not playing the guy who the players are cool with, that's been on the team, that started the season with the guys, it can kind of kill the morale. And I know DJ, he went from standing up clapping to sitting there and wonder why he wasn't playing. And a lot of basketball players around the world are asking that same question: why was he playing? But this team, you know, they went through a lot this year. But you looking at coaches like D'Antoni, he wasn't good at making adjustments. So Steve has to really look at his coaching staff and see, can he rely on them to help him make in-game adjustments during this season. But as far as the roster, they need to bring Jeff Green back. We got to stop calling guys like Joe Harris knockdown shooters, that guys that can make shots in the regular season but can't make them in the playoffs. So like you said, they got a lot of stuff that they need to fix in order for them to reach that goal. But can they do it? Yeah, they can do it.
So a couple things. But when Wild is talking about moves they can make, they obviously have no cap flexibility and no draft picks to trade other than their draft pick this year. So Sean Marks has very little wiggle room. And the question is, like Jeff Green. Jeff Green was on the league minimum this year. I think he played well enough to where he can probably get better than that. Will he take less to stay there? Blake was bought out by the Pistons, who are still paying him a boatload of money, so he took the minimum to come to the Nets. Well, I thought Blake played awesome with the Nets. Is it possible that a team offers him $5, $7, $8, $10 million? Because the Nets can't. Now, Bruce Brown's a restricted free agent, so they can bring him back, but because I don't want to get into the cap stuff, but you'll end up paying an extra $30 million of luxury tax for Bruce Brown. I know Joe Tsai is one of the richest men in the world. Maybe he won't care. Maybe he will care. But, like, those are all complicated things. But I want to ask Stack a question about DJ, because you weren't here yesterday, Stack, but we talked about Ty Lue. And Wilds made Broussard made the point, but Wilds also did, that one of the things Ty Lue does great is he recognizes, I have 12 guys on my roster. I'm allowed to play any of them. And I might, on a given series, in a given moment, call on a guy, and those guys all seem ready. Like Boogie Cousins was DNP coach's decision for game after game after game, was called on in game one, and was ready, and seemed to still be bought in. It seemed like with DJ, once they went to the DNP coach's decision at the end of the regular season, that it's like he wasn't on the roster. It's like, okay, I can't play him. And while I think DJ has some deficiencies, I maybe think of him a little differently than you do. In this particular series, I think he could have been useful at times. Bucks weren't hitting threes. They were killing him on the inside, killing him on the glass. And it's like for the coaching staff with Brooklyn, it was, no, we can't go to DJ. Is there something about coaching staff's ability to keep guys ready even if they're not playing? Do you have to give them some minutes? Because I think what was happening with Ty in the Clippers is such an interesting comparison to what ended up happening with Nash and the Nets, where it's like there's 6 guys who are going to play. Everyone else might as well be wearing street clothes.
Yeah, I mean, you got to communicate with your players. You got to let them know what you want from them. I think the one thing about Greg Popovich he was good at, he called everybody in his office at the beginning